everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the JSE Investment Challenge. My name is Subimboya Arnold, and I know it's cold outside, but I promise to keep our minds stimulated in this week's episode. Just a fresh reminder for those of you who have somewhat forgotten, this challenge really is a financial literacy education, which is produced by the JSE as a flagship show initiative. I couldn't do this without our JSE tax expert, and that's Mr. Ralph Spears. Say hello, Ralph.
Hi, Louis. Great to be part of the show today.
How have you been in this cold weather? Are you keeping warm?
Yes, no, it's pretty chilly, but keeping under the nice blankets, so doing well, doing very well.
So this is our school competition today, and we've got 3 portfolios within the school game. I am so excited, as usual, because we're going to kind of unpack the prizes, and you know me and prizes. But of course, more importantly than the prizes are our winners for this week's episode.
Yeah, so it's great to have them here, and we've got these 3 different portfolios that they can participate in, and today we've got the winners from the equity and speculator portfolio. And basically the difference, just to explain the difference between the two, is with the equity game they can play the top 160 companies, they can trade with them, basically the all share index companies. And then on the speculator game you've got all the companies plus minus about 350 companies that they can trade. So that's the real difference.
I get so inspired by these young people and their commitment to investing. Now, after all their blood, sweat, and tears, because you know it's blood, sweat, and tears doing and playing this game, Rolf, tell us about the prizes. From what I know from my side, it's 3,000 Rand for the monthly competition for the team, and that includes the team, the teachers, and the school. Am I correct?
That's 100% correct, yes.
Okay, and then the big 180,000. Tell us more about that prize.
Yeah, so the 180,000 Rand prizes are just the prizes at the end of the year, where we've got the annual prizes, and that's shared amongst the top 5 teams from each level, both income, equity, and speculator. And so there's a number of prizes, which is fantastic, 15 prizes in total for the annual game. And if they are elsewhere around the country, they will be able to get these prizes at our year-end annual prize giving. So it's fantastic, these prizes, and obviously they're trying to aim for that. But today we've got the focus really is the income gap. I mean, the actual equity and speculator monthly prizes. So yeah, over to you, Klubi.
If that is motivation for you to join in on this virtual game, yes, it's a virtual game of the JSE Investment Challenge, and also just a carrot hanging over the people who's watching heads, there is a special prize for the most engaged viewer. And when I mean engaged, the one who's most engaged when it comes to really connecting it with us when we come to explaining the rules of the game. So that is a special prize which will be given to the viewer who's most engaged when it comes to the rules of the game. And we'll give that prize to you at the end of this episode. Back to you, Rolf. Let's take it a step back a bit. If you want to get involved, and this is the first time watching us and the Q&A and finding out about what this challenge is all about, tell us a little bit about the registration process.
Okay, so great. We've got registration that's on the website. You can go to schools.jse.co.za, and on the top right-hand corner, you will click on register. And as a team of 4 learners in a team, they can go and register. They need to be from the same school, and they can go and fill in the details. They choose the team name and fill in the 4 details of those learners that are participating. Anyone from grades 8 to 12 can register. And the key thing is, it's not too late to register. They can still register. If you're watching this live, we would love you to go and register today. In fact, for our annual prizes, we are saying that the cutoff date is today for you to qualify for the prizes. So those that would like to go and register would need to do it today in order to qualify for the annual prizes. But if you are watching this on a recording, and it's not the 12th of June, you still qualify for monthly prizes and you can still register. So you do not need to worry. Should you be watching this later on, you can still register for this competition, and we would love you to be part of it.
Exciting times. You know, I'm so keen to learn from our winners today. And just because they're young doesn't mean they're wet behind the ears. I know for some of us that investments and just the word Johannesburg Stock Exchange, we get nervous, we start to sweat. You know, we feel inadequate. We have kind of an imposter syndrome, but that's exactly why we're having shows like this and why we have the JSE Investment Challenge, really, because it's about education of financial literacy. It's about education of Johannesburg Stock Exchange. And the fact that we're not alone. We've got people like Wealth, we've got people like the students, and we've got people like the learners really walking us through this journey. So I'm so excited for those of you who've just joined us. Welcome to the show. My name is Boya Arnold, and you're watching the JSE Investment Challenge. I'm so excited. As I said earlier, it might be cold outside, but I can promise you this. I will definitely keep you stimulated with today's winners and obviously today's basic important rules of the JSE investment game, touching on the rules of engagement. Wealth, can you walk us through the topic for today, please?
Yeah, so it's extremely important that those that are playing in this investment challenge game to make sure that they comply with the rules. You know, they're putting a lot of effort, they're putting a lot of time into the game, and there's some key rules that they need to understand and make sure that they actually are complying to. And what we're going to be doing is unpacking that and making sure that they are compliant so they can qualify for these annual prizes and even the monthly prizes, making sure that they do not break any of the key rules.
I hope everyone is just as excited as I am. Don't forget to contact us at schools@jse.co.za. We'll be back in a moment. Almost caught me off guard there, but I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you. Welcome back to the JSE Investment Challenge. My name is Boya Arnold. And without further ado, it's time to introduce our winners. Bring them up onto screen, and that is Richard Smith and Urian Muller. Congratulations, Yella. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know what? I promise I'm not going to try a very deep hand into my Afrikaans today, but I welcome you with warm hugs, virtual hugs, and congratulations. How are you feeling about being winners?
Yeah, it's exciting. Like I never really knew that we were gonna do well because it's the first time we entered this competition, and from like the second week, we started featuring on the monthly scoreboard and even overall, and yeah, it's just something that I didn't expect at all.
I'm so glad. You're easy to engage with. Urian, so you're from Pretoria Boys Word School, am I correct?
No, it's Pretoria Boys High School. It's an English school. Yeah.
At least I'm trying. I'm South African after all. Tell us a little bit more about your school and yourself. What are your hobbies? How old are you? And tell us about the picture in the back. That's a beautiful picture. Are you into art and investing?
Yeah, so I go to Pretoria Boys High School. It's the biggest boys school in the country.
Yes.
I play a lot of sport at Boys High. It offers a lot of opportunity in the cultural, academic, and sports side of things. I play golf. I play water polo and rugby. My favorite sport would be golf. And I've actually started drawing, now that you mention art, during this lockdown period, and I find it, like pencil sketches, I find it very, it's a new thing, but I find it very fun to do and something to spend my time with.
I'm so glad you're here with us today, and you seem like a really inspirational young man. Of course, there's another young, inspirational young man in the house, and apparently, everybody, there are 2-time winners. Can you believe it? Richard Smith, tell us how good you are that this is your second time winning this competition.
I would not necessarily say we're good. It's just the news you need to look at all the time, constant news. That's the reason why we're the winners this month. and it's a privilege to win 2 times in a row. It's our first year in the competition, so it's a real privilege to win.
I'm so excited, and congratulations also to you, Ricard. Ralph, back to you. So let's take it back a bit. For those for us who are really starting out this whole adventure and journey of investing, what is equity game? What is a speculator game? And how are these winners? How have they been determined?
Okay, so both the equity and speculator game, you really get given R1 million virtual money. And as a team, you need to grow that R1 million to the highest value. And on a monthly basis, we are monitoring that. And so these two teams have done exceptionally well this month. They've made a return of around 23-24% for the month, which is exceptional in the current market environment. And so they are the winners because they've landed on top of the scoreboard at the end of this calendar month that we've just had. So it's a great achievement for both of them. And then for Ricard, he's actually been 2 times winners, being both the March as well as now the May monthly prizes. And I must just point out, you can only win twice during the year. So those that are watching, you all got a chance. They no longer can win another monthly prize up until the annual game. So it's great to know that we leave room for those other teams that are all out pursuing the top prizes.
Everybody wants a chance to be on the top of the scoreboard. So back to our winners, and that's Jurien and Ricard. And Rolf, please do join in on this conversation, because this is when we really try to dig deep into the winner's circle. We want to know the trade secrets. We want to know how you do what you do, why you do what you do, and if COVID and lockdown has really infringed on the way you trade and the decisions that you make and the strategies that you partake in. But before we get to that, guys, what are your team names? What's your team name, Ricard? Jurien, what's the team names? I forgot to ask. Let's start with you, Ricard. What's your team name?
We are Smith _77.
Yes. Is there anything behind that? 77, is that your lucky number?
Yeah, it's my lucky number.
Okay, so Smith _77. Welcome to the show and congratulations. Jurien, what's your team name?
So our team's name is PBHS Jack Boys. We initially decided on another name for the group, but then when the other team member, Alex, went to hand in the forms, the business club teacher didn't approve of that name. So he had to think of another name on the spot. And I don't know how Jack Boys came up in his mind, but it did. And it's probably better than the previous name even.
We won't go into the details of the previous name if your school teacher didn't allow it. So clearly we won't allow it either, huh? Okay, let's get down and into the business of investing. Ralph, could you start off with a great question to our teams, please?
Okay, I'll ask Jurien about really his daily process or weekly process. You might not have the time to be able to trade so often, but could you take us through a process as to how you go about looking at the market? Not necessarily a specific stock, but just looking at the market. What is the process that you do as a team? Jurien?
Okay, so we as the Jack Boys have a WhatsApp group where the 4 members so we look at stocks that are bound to recover after the rapid downfall in most markets due to the COVID-19 and the lockdown. So we'll do our own research. We'll look at lists of popular shares, and then just look at the charts without mentioning it to the team first. And if we see opportunity in any of the charts, or we read news articles, they're going to lift restrictions and this might affect a certain company, then we'll mention it on the group, and then all of us will do research on that specific share, and if we approve, we'll decide to buy.
Wow. Do you want the same question for Ricard, Ralph?
Yeah, I know, Ricard, you've got family members as part of your team, so it's a sibling environment. So I suppose you don't need to be using WhatsApp. But do you guys have some kind of process that you look at the market during the week that helps you make decisions?
Every week, each person of our team comes up with a new idea and their opinion about the shares. Then we come together every afternoon because we're a family and decide which share we're going to buy or sell. So yeah.
I'm sure it's so nice to participate, and Ralph, correct me if I'm wrong, in this investment challenge as a family, you know. So are you teaching? Are you learning stuff from mom and dad and sister, or are you the educator, Ricard?
I'm actually the one who brought us into this. It was my idea to bring us into the competition.
Fantastic, fantastic. Ralph, second question from you.
Okay, so we talked about the environment and how you guys go about it on a weekly basis. Now, is there any particular sector that you guys have been looking into, or don't you look at the sectors? Do you go straight in and look for particular companies? And maybe you can just describe to us, I'll start with you, Jurgen, if you can tell us what exactly is the process of the actual shares, because on a WhatsApp group you can get many ideas. How do you sieve it down to the particular company that you want?
Okay, so we don't really look at sectors. We look at the specific companies, whether it's a property company or oil or even like gaming, casino gaming and stuff. Wow. We look at the charts and if we see opportunity, it's going to recover after its downfall because of the restrictions, then we'll decide to sell. Buy. We've also looked into penny stocks to try something different, a different strategy, and to avenge shares, to be specific. And avenge shares, they usually bounce between 1 cent and 2 cents per share, which means it's quite a risky market to invest in. But in this challenge, it works on closing prices of the day. So this makes it very difficult to invest in penny stocks, as you kind of have to take a gamble in what price you're going to buy it at. So you can just hope for it to close at 1 cent. And usually 1 cent difference wouldn't make a big difference in the overall picture. But in this case, it's 100% loss or 100% gain. So I think we came to the realization that that's not the way we're going to trade. We're going to keep looking at the opportunities for stocks to recover after the downfall.
Wow, spoken like a true legend of investments, Jurgen. But Ralph, for those of us who don't know, can you explain, or Jurgen, you can since you brought it up, avenge shares, penny stocks, what is that, or how does it work? And you can chip in, Ricard, if you know as well. You know, this is a conversation, guys. Educate us, inform us.
So penny stocks are stocks that trade at very low prices. I think it's 10 cents per share or below, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a more of a high risk, high reward game. I think you can do well with penny stocks, but at this moment, I would still want to get to know the market a little bit better before I invest anything in penny stocks. But that's what I know.
Ricard, do you want to add anything to penny stocks?
No, I think Jurgen include everything.
Did Jurgen include everything, Ralph?
I could say that basically for Ricard's game, which is the equity game, which is very interesting this year, we focused on the top 160 companies, which is the all share. So it excludes a lot of these penny stock companies that Yurin is referring to, which
okay.
makes the game more interesting, the equity game as well. But yeah, I'd like to say that, those are companies that you can go and look at, and it depends on the team strategy and risk profile. Buying a small penny stock share, it can be very volatile when the downtrend does happen. And as you've seen, maybe in the last day or so, we've seen the market actually very volatile and had quite a big down day yesterday. And those shares will be probably biggest affected with all the volatility out there.
Richard, on your side, tell us about your strategies in your team.
We look at the specific.
Yes.
We look at the specific, like mining, like oil, gold, and platinum, and then we take from that, we go look at the companies that uses that, and then look at their shares.
Okay. And have you used the same strategy twice, because you are a 2-time winner? But remember, Ralph said that this is your last shot. You're going to give other kids a chance to play. Have you used similar strategies to be able to be a 2-time winner, Richard?
Actually, we did not, because the market took a dip again this month. So we needed to use a different strategy this month than the first month.
Ralph, just on your side, I mean, I'm just amazed at the eloquence and the jargon and really the commitment of these young people into something that isn't ordinarily what young people would want to do in their spare time, and really commit creating more time in this process. What thus is the end goal of the JSE Investment Challenge if we're introducing it at a high school level? What are we trying to achieve?
Yeah, we're trying to create more of a financial literate society in South Africa. I mean, the stats on saving is pretty poor in the country, and we're just really trying to create a more wealthy society by helping them understand finance, understand the money. I mean, everyone hopefully one day is going to earn some kind of income that they can go and put away. And there are different options. And one of them is the stock market. And we would love it, whether you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, whatever you're studying, it's irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that you will need to make a decision one day with your money. And we're hoping that you would be a lot more equipped if you start young, start early, and learn the ropes, that you make mistakes with this virtual money, that one day when you have the real money, you will know a lot better and be well informed on how to handle your finances.
Since you're on such a roll, Ralph, can you ask them another question about their strategies or their team approach to trading, please?
Okay, Yurin, I heard you mention, you said you guys look at the charts. I'm sure there are people out there that are probably asking, so what do you look on the charts? The chart has got the price, but what is it? Do you use certain indicators? Is anything you'd like to share that you could share that around those charts?
Okay, so we don't really use the charts and strategies on the charts to predict an incline or decline. We actually we look at we used Sasol. That's one of our first big gains. It had a rapid decline in 2 or 3 days. So we invested when it was at rock bottom, and we waited for it to increase again, but not by analyzing the chart really. Just the chart showed us that this company took a knock, and then also we have a business club WhatsApp group with 120 students from Boys High. And on that group, our business club teacher, Mr. Kelly, he posts on a daily news articles, and we also have another trading professional on it, keeping us up to date with trends happening in the markets and so on. So we read news articles from there, and by that we kind of hope to predict the next movement on the charts. And if I look at charts, I would quickly, if I just quickly want to look at the movement of the day, then I'll just go to Google and say Sasol share price, for example. But if I really analyze the specific company's movement in the share price, I would go on sharenet.com.
I love the fact how your school and your teachers are really involved in this process, Urian. And Ricard, I want to ask you the same thing. You know, what is your teachers in your school? How are they supporting you when you are playing this game? But before we go to Ricard, Urian, what subjects are you taking at school, and what do you want to do once you leave school? Winner?
So I take accounting, physical science, geography, and then AP Maths, which is advanced program mathematics, and then English and Afrikaans. But next year, I'm not too sure what I want to do yet, but I'm thinking of studying actuarial. And at UCT, there's a course only at UCT. It's business science and actuarial combined. And I'm interested in that. So, but I still haven't made my final decision yet.
The future is so bright for you. And what about your sports? Because I remember you were a golfer, you were this, and you started some pencil drawing. What about all of that, young man?
So I think golf is something, because I really enjoy golf. It's my favorite sport. That's something I would be able to do for the rest of my life. I wouldn't try to pursue it as a career because I'm like an average golfer, but it's mainly just for enjoyment and staying busy. It's a hobby. So I'll definitely never stop playing it, but I won't pursue it as a career or try earn money by playing golf.
Ricard, over to you. What characteristics have you learned about yourself through playing the JSE Investment Challenge? What have you learned, and what do you love about the game that teaches you about yourself? Ricard, two-time winner, Ricard.
I learned that it's not about your strategies. You need to look at the business world news, not only South Africa, but the whole world.
Wow.
And the game learned me to not be to not put all of your focus on one share.
Yes.
But on a lot, and not the large shares and small shares. You need to play more than one share or more than 5 shares, because when you take a loss at one, that you can gain money at the other share.
Ralph, what do you have to say about these young, incredible men's answers to the actually, you know, the deeper meaning of just playing the JSE Investment Challenge?
Yeah, it's fantastic to see. It's fantastic to see that you know, the effort they put into it, and being able to look at the different ideas and strategies. And I love the collective effort. You know, I'd love to really know, like, obviously they're getting these winners because they clearly are. They've made 23% return. At what stage do they take profit? Because it's one thing to have a winning trade. It can go up 5%. It can go up 10%. It can go up 15%. At what stage do they decide to exit the share? And do their teammates actually agree with them when they want to exit? And maybe, Urian, you can start and give us that feedback.
So if we want to sell a share, we'd obviously discuss it on the group first. But I'm a guy that, like, I want to take more risk. I'm always the one that wants to leave the shares in. But then one of the other team members, Cornal, he's a bit more careful, and he's scared of taking big risks and stuff. So we eventually come to an agreement whether we want to sell shares, but we mainly, like, we wait. If we see that a share is kind of, it's reached a point where it's stagnant and it's not really moving anymore, then we'll decide to sell. But if there's still movement in the chart, we wouldn't sell. So we wait for share to settle at a certain price, and then we'll start thinking of selling it.
Ricard, and you?
We are looking at the daily progress of the shares, if it's still going up or if there's a decrease in the shares price, and then we decide from there if we're going to sell or keep it.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I am motivated and I'm inspired, even if it's just to take that first step in my long journey of investing with the JSE Investment Challenge. When we come back, it's Q&A. I'm back. Did you miss me? Well, I definitely missed our winners, and that is Urian and Ricard. And hello, Ralph Spears again. And I couldn't do the show without him. That's our JSE technical expert. And we are back with the Q&A session. So as we were talking in the segment before, just about your teams and about the strategies, and congratulations again to our young gentlemen, Urian and Ricard, for winning this month's school challenge. For those of you who want to find out more about it, it's schools@jse.co.za. Ralph, to you. Let's talk about who is currently holding the annual competition scoreboard. Where are we at?
Okay, so we've got the income game, and the top team has got over 100,000 Rand in income, and that is Lettuce Streetwise Traders with 103,000 Rand in income, which is a fantastic achievement currently. They're leading the annual game, and I can tell the other teams that are out there, it is still possible to beat their team. It's going to be a stretch, but it is definitely possible. So don't give up, and continue, obviously, to try and invest in dividend-paying companies, because that's the way you'll catch the income game teams. And then on the equity side, we have got Smith 77 in second place, which is Ricard's team. That's second place with 30%. And then in first place currently, we've got Profits of Profit, and they're literally 1% above Ricard's team at the moment. And again, you know, I would say definitely the scoreboard is still wide open. You can still go out there and catch them with this competition. And then the speculator game, you've got the Wise Owls, and they're sitting at 73% return currently, which is fantastic. And so, yeah, the game is still 3 months to go. Even if you are registering today, I do believe if you select the right companies, you can definitely catch up on.
That it might be cold outside, but it's definitely cooking in here in the JSE Investment Challenge. So the questions coming up, and I can see them already. It is, can I still register, Ralph?
Yes, it's a very important question. We would love you to all to go and register today. Whether you're watching this live, grab a team, get 4 people from the same school and get registered. It's a very easy process. As I said earlier, go to schools.jsc.co.za and click on the registration button. If you are not watching this live, just know we still want you on board. We still want you playing. So please do come on board, do register, and you will be able to still qualify for the monthly prizes.
Ricard and Urian, if you've got anything to add to the Q&A, this is a group discussion. Yes, Ralph might be the expert, and yes, I might be an upcoming winner, but you guys are the real winners today. So if there's any questions that you can't answer, please take over the show from me, okay? But not forever, only for the questions. Okay, let's go to some more questions. How do I win in the equity and speculator game? So you answer for equity, and Urian, you can answer for speculator. Ricard, let's start with you.
In the equity game, I think it's the amount of, you can only use a certain amount of money per share or company. So, and then it's the income that you get, that or the growth that you get, that makes you win.
Okay. Are you happy with that answer, Ralph?
I love it. Exactly. The bottom line is you've got R1 million. Grow it as much as possible. And the way to grow it is by buying a share at a low price and selling it at a higher price and making that profit. And it's going to increase your R1 million, and it's going to increase your position on the scoreboard, And that's how you win this competition.
I love that. Thank you for your insights, Ricard. Urian, to you, how do we win the
Yes.
Speculator game?
So we haven't really been focusing on any income strategies. We've only been looking at shares that we see can grow. So it's also, we took the R1 million and we tried to see opportunities to make it grow. And I think overall we're also around 60% growth at the moment. And yeah, it's shares that with high volatility,
Yeah.
if you can earn a lot of money in a very little period of time. So
Yep.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Urian. Rolf, what are the other frequently asked questions that you get that maybe haven't come up as of while we're waiting for other questions?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is how to select shares, which we've discussed. And I must say, just to have a disclaimer out there, that anyone that's watching this, whether it's recorded or live, please understand none of the discussion that we've had is advice for you to go out and do it in the real world. This is purely for the virtual trading game. So please do understand that this is not advice. Please don't go try it with real money. And yeah, so that's a common thing. How do I select the shares, which we've discussed? But there's another question around often is the price. At what price do I get my shares? And that's as stated earlier, it's around the closing price of the day. So every day the markets open at 9 a.m. in the morning and then close at 5 p.m. in the evening, and you will get the closing price of whatever was traded today. And it's a very simple steps. I mean, if you wanted to actually know the exact steps of how to place a trade or how to sell a trade, they can go under the frequently asked questions page, where you will actually see the detail or the step process of how you can go and select a share.
Beautiful. I love that. So you can go to the frequently asked questions. So winners, and that I'm talking about Ricard and Urian, what would you have liked to have known in the beginning of this journey that you now know? It's not a trick question.
So as
what
I
would you
said,
have liked to know? What would you like to know? Yes, shoot, Urian.
As I said, it's the first year that we've been entered in the competition, and before this, none of us were familiar with the stock market. So everything that I know about stocks and any type of trading, actually, I've learned in the last 9 weeks.
Wow.
So
wow.
We started from the bottom basically, and
incredible.
Everything I know now is something that I would wanted to have known that at that time as well, because it's building the foundation of the financial world and just understanding everything. So yeah, everything I know now I would have wanted to know back then.
And you know what? I mean, 9 weeks, you're giving us hope, because you don't sound like you started playing the investments 9 months ago. You know what I mean? 9 weeks ago. Sorry for my mistake. So that is highly, highly impressive. Ricard, what would you have liked to have known at the beginning of this journey that you now know?
It's our first year as well, and I'm only grade 9, so I have a little experience with the business world. I also learned everything that I know today about stocks.
Beautiful.
So yeah.
You know what I'm loving about this conversation, Ralph, is that it's a journey, and we're all starting at the same mark, and it's about how quickly you can recover, how much you want to learn, and how much you want to pick yourself up after you've lost, So it really is a character building exercise, as well as just being prudent about your finances and its investments. Can you add to that, Rolf?
Yeah, there's so much. The stock market is a big, wide world of knowledge that you can acquire, and so you can take years to read up and just to keep on learning. And it's an ever-growing process. And when the bug bites, you'll find yourself continuously reading and continuously looking into it. And it's a beautiful subject. You might not necessarily want to be in the financial sector as far as career-wise, but it's always a nice hobby to have, something that you can look at doing and look into the different companies. At the end of the day, is a lot of us that are out there will be actually working for these listed companies, whether
Correct.
it is in retail, whether it is in finance, whether it is the different sectors, mining. A lot of those companies you'll find are actually on the stock market.
Correct. So Jurien and Ricard, has the bug bitten?
Yes, I think the bug definitely got hold of me during this lockdown period, because I've almost spent more time on investing than I should have spent on my academic work, but I guess it's investing in my future as well. So yeah.
Ricard, has the bug bitten?
Yes, definitely. I can agree with Jurien about the schoolwork, because I got behind in the lockdown, because I'm all the time reading about stocks. So yeah.
I get so excited, and really this makes me so happy. Just the enthusiasm and the commitment from young people who've only started playing on the stock exchange 9 weeks ago. Truly inspirational stuff. So as we close off this segment, not the show, this segment of the show, I think, and Ralph, you can confirm this, one of the important or most important rules of the game. What would that be?
Yeah, so it's if people are to go look on our website or at the manual, it's rule number 11. It's around you placing at least 10 transactions minimum throughout the competition. This wording is not the full description of the rules, so please go refer to rule number 11. But you need to place at least 10 transactions during the course of the competition, and you need to make sure that at least once a month you have placed a trade, and to make sure that it's in between all these months. And we've got these dates that you've just displayed there. Those dates are when we wanting you to be able to place a trade. You need to place these trades in between these dates on a monthly basis. You can see the 11th of June was yesterday. That is our May competition. And again, today it starts the next, the 11th until the 10th of July is for the next month. So again, we'll have the results out on the 13th of July, and they need to make sure that they're trading between these dates. If you've missed it up until now, it's not a problem. You can still qualify for the annual prize as long as you place this trade by the end of today. Otherwise, you're then qualifying for the monthly prizes.
Thank you so much, Ralph. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Hlubimboya Arnold, and you're watching the JSE Investment Challenge. If you've been watching, it's been such a cool but hot show right here with the winners, and that is Jurien and that is Ricard. Fantastic young men doing fantastic things, only playing on the stock market for 9 weeks. So if they can do it, so can we. Ralph, thank you so much for being on the show and being my helm when it comes to the technical terms and technical jargon of trading. So a call to action. I think, you know what, I was going to give you a call to action, but I think it's actually going to be more authentic if the people who have won, and not just by mistake, through experience, will give the rest of us a call to action. Ricard and Jurien, give us something to motivate those of us that are scared, those of us who have done it the first time, those of us who are bored, those of us who are feeling a bit demotivated about your experience of playing the investment challenge with the JSE.
Yeah, so as soon as I mention, well, I've experienced this, as soon as I mention to someone, yeah, we're playing the JSE investment challenge, and then they sound very interested and inspired, but because they also want to be part of it, and they say that they want to do this one day. And I'm also guilty of this, because that's what I used to say until my friends decided that we should enter. But it doesn't help if you just keep saying, yeah, you want to learn about this. You can start learning now, because It's available anywhere on the internet, watching YouTube videos. It's easy to get educated about the stock market because it's available around every corner.
Ricard, for you, give a
I
shout
think
out
the thing-
and why it's such a fabulous game. Yeah.
I think the thing that motivated me, I'm not gonna lie, is the prize money. But as I played longer and longer, it became real fun and a good experience to have.
I love the fact that you're honest. I love the fact that you're honest. Prize money, my favorite word is P as well. Ralph, please, can you just remind us as we're landing this plane, how to register to become part of this exciting journey of financial literacy with the JSE?
Yeah, just go over to schools.jse.co.za, click on register, and you can start immediately. Once you put your team details in, you can literally start trading there and then and enjoy this competition.
And as I said at the beginning of the show, there is a prize. Thank you so much, JC. So for the viewer who engaged as much as they could, or more than anyone else, on the topic of the rules of engagement when it comes to the challenge, and that will be announced in a second. But in closing, I really have to ask your favorite books, your favorite websites, really what motivates and inspires you to become better investors. Our winners for our school challenge today, and that is Urin from PBHS, and Ricard Smith. So Urin, let's start with you. Leave us with your favorite books, websites, who your investment gurus. I mean, who do you look up to, etc., etc.
Okay, so I haven't really read a lot of books about financial trading and how to trade, but there is one book that coincidentally one of the other team members bought me for my birthday, and I also saw that it was mentioned in the previous Q&A, and that's Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's not necessarily about how to invest, but it gives you a different view of money, and the book talks about eventually becoming independent of your salary by covering your expenses with income generated by your assets. And the stock market can definitely be seen as a growing asset. And another way of learning about the stock market, I have a demo account, an IG trading account, where I experiment with other stocks, also virtual money, and I can just see what happens and see if I had real money, what would I be able to do with it?
Not if you had real money, when, Julian?
Yeah.
When? Ricard, what books are you reading? Who are your investment gurus? Who do you look up to? Websites? Give us some info.
I'm actually not reading books. Especially looking at videos of Elon Musk and Warren Buffett.
Yes.
And then also I go to TradeView and Plus 500 and read the news about the stocks to learn more.
Guys, you've been such great sports. Thank you so much for educating us and just being so cool and real and just so exciting and bringing great energy to today's show. Ralph, do you want to add to how fantastic these young men are?
Yeah, it's fantastic to see how well they're doing, and especially on even the annual game. You know, they're really pushing the limits. Obviously, putting a lot of time and effort into this, and you know, it will in long-term process. It will really assist them in the future. And so, I'm just so grateful for all of those that are actually taking the time to go out there and learn about the financial world. It's a beautiful sector, and if you really get to understand it, that bug will really bite.
Thank you once again to our winners, and that is Urin, and that is Ricard. Thank you so much. Before we close, our most engaged viewer. Do we have one, Ralph? Are you going to help me here?
Yes, there's Mohammed Rahim Tuala. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but well done, Mohammed. So Mohammed has got that prize. He's been the most engaged, and in fact, Mohammed asked actually a question around the rule that they talked about placing a trade on the 11th at the end of the month. I just want to emphasize, you know, if you place a trade on the 11th and that is the last day, it's not a problem. We will still count it. You know, we obviously notice, and we're able to see each and every trade when you've done it, and just make sure you try and keep it within those dates for the competition. So well done to Mohammed for all the questions that you've done today.
Any final words in closing, Mr. Spears?
Yeah, it's a fantastic chance, and thanks very much for obviously helping us reach out to the masses that are watching. And I'd like to say, do not hesitate to go out there and register and join us, be part of it. You know, if you got questions, just contact us via Facebook, via our website, and we'd love to walk you on this journey of understanding the financial world and just equipping you for your future. So thank you.
I had a fantastic time. Thank you so much, Ricard, Urian, and of course, Ralph. An investment in knowledge always pays the best entrance. My name is Tlubimboya Arnold, and you are watching the JSE Investment Challenge. Stay warm, stay safe, and save lives. Bye.